congratulations. 10 years of Newsfeed.
Thanks.
But it got off to a bit of a rocky start, though, didn't it?
A very interesting start.
Tell us about that.
So in 2005, this is what the homepage of Facebook looked like, if you remember. Were you on Facebook in 2005?
Yeah, I was, actually.
The Facebook?
Pretty bare.
It was a college directory only, and there were only about 5 million American college students on it, and UK students in 2005. And the idea was to update the homepage to make it easier for people to see what was going on with their friends. And we worked on it for about 9 months. And this is what the very first newsfeed looked like. There were no like buttons, there was no comments. There were very few photos because people weren't carrying around mobile phones. There was no video. And it basically looked like a wall of text. But we were very excited about it, and we got ready to roll it out, and we hit go, and we waited for the feedback to roll in. This is in September of 2006. And the feedback was really negative. And we eventually got an alert from the security team just about an hour later that there was a protest gathering in front of our office.
A physical protest?
A protest. And that we would need to be escorted out the back.
And then what happened from then on? The press picked up on it?
The next morning, this is before Facebook was something that was covered that much in the press, so it was something that college students knew about, but it wasn't something that was breaking into the mainstream news. But the next morning, we spent a bunch of time changing the product to communicate better exactly how everything worked. People learned how to use it, and they used it a lot, and they liked it.
What was it that they hated, that they were objecting to so much?
It was the drastic change without a clear sense of how it worked. And so we learned a very important lesson that day, that our community cared a lot about the architecture of the social network, and we needed to be very deliberate about how we rolled out changes.
Have there been any favourite moments for you over the past decade? Any best bits?
One of them was just a few months later, after we translated Facebook into Spanish and German and a few other European languages, was the very first set of translations. There was a young man in Colombia named Oscar Morales Guevara who decided that he wanted to organize a march to protest the FARC, the guerrilla sort of violent group in Colombia. And so he started this free Facebook group, which was to gather people around and march on this one day. And he started it, and each day that went by, it was like hundreds of people, thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, and he noticed that they weren't just coming from Colombia, they were coming from all over the world, from Japan, from Germany, from the US. And eventually, on the day of the march, 14 million people on one day, all around the world, marched in support of a cause that he had organized with no marketing background, with no budget, with no community organization background. He just cared about it, and he put it up there, and it became a really important day for paying attention to something that was not in the consciousness of a lot of people.
And did you mean for Facebook's newsfeed to become a tool for change like that?
We would love, to have known that something like that could have happened, but we had no idea that it could. And that taught us a very important lesson, that it could be used as a force for good.
So you have 24 hours to do this, or you have to donate $100. All right, here we go.
Another one would be the Ice Bucket Challenge, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Do you remember that?
Loved that, yeah. Posted my own video of doing that.
Yeah, so we had just released autoplay video, which was a major technical innovation and undertaking. It was inspired by Harry Potter, where the newspaper has moving pictures inside of it. So we had just updated feed so that when you scrolled through it, the videos would play automatically. Right after that, the Ice Bucket Challenge began to spread and go viral. There were over 15 million people that uploaded videos. Over 440 million people watched them. There were over 10 billion impressions. And it raised over $115 million for the cause of ALS, which eventually led to a breakthrough that let them associate a gene with the disease.
When I told some of my friends that I was coming to interview you, they said, can you ask just how much control does Facebook actually have over what we see in our news feeds?
So the vast majority of what people see is about who they connect with. Who are your friends? Who are your favorite artists? Who are your favorite news sources? That's what determines the vast majority of what you see, as well as the controls that you can use to decide what you see first and what you hide and all that other stuff.
So why do certain friends' posts pop up first and then some other friends I never see what they're up to?
So the average person has 2,000 posts that they could see in a day and will only have time to read about 200. So the product is designed to help people get the stories that matter to them most on top. So for both Facebook and Instagram, there's this problem, which is there's way more stuff than most people can read, and that's why we rank things so that people can get the best stuff on top.
Is it true, I heard a rumour, that you can use certain trigger words to make your posts be more prominent in others' feeds, like anniversary?
The only way to make your post reach the most people is to write something that's relevant to the most people, and that's really how Newsfeed works.
Do you have any sympathy for people who criticise Facebook for not policing enough? And I'm talking about child protection issues or bullying or criminal gangs.
We take those issues very, very, very seriously. For each of those kinds of issues, we'll have a team that's dedicated to understanding, to working with local charities and government organizations, and then to building tools that let the community report when something's going wrong and let us take it down immediately.
Is it a hard one to balance? Because on the other side of the coin, you can also be criticised for intervening too much or censoring too much.
It's something we spend a lot of time on. We get teams that are really steeped in these issues and care a lot about these issues so that they can have empathy always for both sides.
And so what's in store for the next 10 years? What will Newsfeed look like in a decade's time?
The next big thing is going to be a shift towards more video and more immersive storytelling and more immersive formats. As of recently, if you upload a panoramic photo to Facebook, it will show up in your feed as a way, as a photo that you can turn around in your hands and explore and look around.
Oh, really? What, with your phone?
Yeah.
You don't need to be wearing a headset?
Yeah, so if you're ever in a panoramic view, if you're having a wonderful moment on the beach, you can take a panoramic photo with your phone and upload it, and you'll see it presented in such a way that you can explore it. That's the kind of thing that we think is really the future of how we're going to use our phones to capture and share experiences and to explore them in a really fun and cool way.